Melissa and YogaCare for holding this space and for organizing these wonderful wellness circles. And thank you to all of you for being here. I'm certainly grateful to be here today to share with you. Today, we're going to be discussing the niyamas Tapas and Ishvarapranidhana. Before we get started, or as we move into talking about this, I just want to prompt you with an idea. The idea is to name a daily discipline. So we're going to be discussing tapas and how it relates to discipline, and also how we offer our discipline, or we offer to practice our discipline as a way of thinking about Ishvarapranidhana. I'll discuss those topics more, but I just want to start by asking you all to think about a daily discipline that either you do yourself or that someone else does that you know, or even one that you want to offer to the group or something that you might aspire to. So I've offered some examples here, and as you can see, they're not just all about physical practice. They also are just things you might try and do every day. I personally have a practice of rolling out my mat every day, and I endeavor to hold that space for myself every day, no matter how I'm feeling, no matter what's going on, no matter what's happening, how late it's gotten. I roll out my mat and I put usually a YouTube video on for anywhere between 8 and 20 minutes. And then I spend time on my mat doing whatever I want. Sometimes it's meditation, sometimes it's rest. Sometimes it's physical practice. So I hold that space for myself every day. And I surrender to this idea that, like, once I get to my mat, I just have to do whatever I want to do there for the time and length of that YouTube video that I put on. So I just want to offer to think about that. And maybe when you feel like it over the course of this presentation, if you want to offer to the group a daily discipline. So tapas can be thought of as, or I'm choosing to think of it as, a self-discipline and a training of your senses. I've offered some words here that are used often to describe tapas. These are words like effort, heat, discipline, zeal, austerity, burning enthusiasm, or an inner fire. You can teach yourself a sort of, or it can teach us a spiritual paradigm that can change your response to adversity and struggle. And by learning how to face challenges, this can also lead to purification. But we want to remember that we don't want this to be punishment to our bodies. We want to make sure that we don't injure ourselves. So we don't want it to be a pain necessarily. We have Swami Satchitananda has defined tapas as the acceptance of those pains that lead to purification. So that's why I like to think of it as a discipline. I can choose to skip my daily discipline. I can think I'm too tired. I can say it's gotten too late. I'll say I'll do double the amount of time tomorrow or something like that. But I know that if I unfurl my mat and actually get there and speak to myself with compassion and remind myself that transformation takes effort, willpower, and determination, I know that, that those are things, the ways I can speak to myself that can get me through the challenges of feeling tired or like it's too late for me to work on my discipline. So we want to make sure that our tapas are rooted in love and not punishment. Remember, no pain. With the same kind of patience that you might offer to loved ones, you want to speak to yourself. And that's why I speak to myself and say, transformation takes effort, willpower, and determination. We also can remember that a discipline is not necessarily something that has to be physical or that pushes us physically. It can also be something where we take time to actually calm and still and observe the mind. So the discipline we learn on our mat is a lesson to take off the mat. When we breathe through challenging situations in a yoga practice or find strength in a position in some way, we can take that lesson and learn to be strong when facing many of life's situations. Does anyone have any questions about that?
Not yet.
No, it's pretty clear.
Okay. So Ishvarapranidhana, I'm thinking of as a surrender to a higher being or a contemplation of a higher power. When you start to think about this idea, it can be really daunting. Like, how does one define that which is ultimately undefinable? But if we start with Ishvara, it has been translated to describe the original source of knowledge or the original and eternal teacher. And Pranidhana is translated as the practice of surrender. And so when you say Ishvarapranidhana, it can be translated as surrender to something larger than ourselves, some higher power, some greater being. Judith Lassiter has said, it is something concrete enough to sink our spiritual teeth into, but it is also something that offers us hope and faith. I want to suggest that being in discipline is a way to cultivate hope. And the offering of cultivating hope is what we will practice with here today. So this idea offers the practitioner an opportunity to understand this as a sense of something within ourselves, within all of us, and within everything, and yet greater than the sum of all these parts. Basically, our own personal way of feeling and understanding may be as unique as our fingerprint, but either way, we can agree there is something bigger than ourselves that we are linked to, a higher power or something like that. That may take many ideas and forms, ranging from concepts such as love, source, great mystery, nature, or even science. And it can also be a more defined being or deity, such as Jesus, Krishna, Shiva, Buddha, or Muhammad. The faith I author each day when I come to my mat is to explore my discipline. And once I have arrived, I can surrender to my mat and that time that's set up for me by putting on my yoga video. So we are going to do the act of approaching your practice with the spirit of offering, and the act of surrender and giving up the illusion of control. And when you give up the illusion of control, there lies the potential for great solace, great peace, or hope. From this quiet, steady place, we arrive at an understanding that our inherent self-worth is not tied to any outcome. Does anyone have any questions after explaining those two niyamas?
No, I don't.
Okay.
Nor do I. Not yet. That's a lot to take in.
So our practice today is going to be some breathing, some exploration of rest, a sun salutation where hopefully we'll build some heat and energy to consider our tapas and our discipline, but also remember that the sun salutation in its origin was a moving prayer in which every breath was offered to the sun. So this is the idea of surrendering to the divine and offering ourselves in this compassionate and kind way. We'll have a little bit of a cool down, some Shavasana, and then we'll move directly into meditation and journaling. And then I will bring us back together to close our practice. So we're going to go ahead and start with a breath practice. So find a comfortable seat. You can also lay on your back if you would like. You can lay against something, you can sit in a chair, you can sit on something, whatever feels most comfortable for you in this moment. Where once you get to your comfortable seated position, I'll ask you to start scanning the body. And just see how the body is feeling. Notice anything that feels tight, or maybe is challenging. Notice anything about your breath. How does it feel? Do you notice anything about its length or where it's going in your body, or how it feels just going through your nose or your mouth? Notice anything that doesn't bother you. Something that isn't causing you pain or causing you challenge, and be grateful for having that in this moment. You can close your eyes if you want, but Deb, don't do that. Keep your eyes open on the road. And And for a few moments, start to notice your breath. Notice how you're inhaling and how you're exhaling. Notice how you're setting yourself up for comfort in this moment. Can you surrender anywhere in your body? Can your shoulders fall down your back? Can your jaw become less tight? Can your whole face relax? Now, can you see your breathing? Can you feel it in your body? We'll start with some deep abdominal breathing. So you can start slow, don't have to start big. You just want to inhale and fill your belly. And then exhale, draw the belly button back towards the spine. And you inhale, fill the belly. And then exhale, draw the belly button back towards your spine. You can have the mouth open or closed. You can do some combination with your nose and mouth open and closed. But you want to inhale, fill the belly, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, belly button draws back to the spine, 2, 3, 4. Inhale, fill the belly, 2, 3, 4. Exhale, let the belly button drop back towards the spine, 2, 3, 4. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, fill the belly. Exhale, draw the belly button back towards the spine. Take one more breath at your leisure and then go ahead and let that breath go. Take another scan of the body and also of the breath. See how you're feeling. See if anything came up for you in the body or the mind while you were practicing that. See if there's any way in your comfort, in the place of comfort you brought yourself, if you can surrender and offer your body a little bit more space. Offer your mind an opportunity to calm, or just observe your mind and allow yourself your opportunity to be present with it. As this is a summer yoga class and it may be warm where you are as it is warm where I am, I want to offer also a cooling breath. These breaths can be taken at any time over the course of our practice. A cooling breath is a breath where you inhale with the mouth open and you either put the tongue on, let the tongue rest on the bottom of the mouth and just let it rest so that the width of the tongue is just open and resting in the bottom palate of the mouth. Or you can stick your tongue out and roll it like a taco. So we'll inhale with inhaling the air across the surface area of our tongue, and then we'll exhale and gently close the mouth. You can exhale through the mouth or the nose. You just want to gently close it and then open it again when we inhale. So we're going to go ahead and try this. So we're going to open the mouth to inhale, and you can have the tongue flat or you can curl into a taco. So you inhale, feel the air across the surface area of the tongue, gently close the mouth and exhale through the nose if that's available. Inhale through the surface area of the tongue, feel that cool breath come over the tongue and head back towards the throat. Exhale, gently close the mouth. Make sure there's no tension in the jaw. Inhale, open the mouth. Draw in the air across the tongue. Exhale, gently close the mouth. Let go of anything in the jaw, relax the face. Inhale, draw the air across the tongue. Exhale, gently close the mouth. Do that just a couple more times on your own. And go ahead and let that breath go. Come back to your comfort. Scan the body again, scan the breath, scan the mind. See how you're feeling. See how that breath practice felt. We do have to have a discipline. We don't have to necessarily have a discipline for breathing, but more of a discipline for taking care of the apparatus in our bodies that breathe. But we can surrender to breathing, and we can surrender to the ways that it makes us feel and offer that. We offer this practice of discipline as the way of supporting ourselves and supporting our minds. Next, we will move on to some rest practices. Our first rest position is called Constructive Rest. You can do this sitting up or laying on your back. This pose is done with your back flat on the ground and your knees on the ground, or your feet on the ground, excuse me. Your back is flat on the ground, your arms lay comfortably by your sides, your head and neck completely relax. Deb, if it's possible for you to relax your head and neck at all, maybe draw your shoulders down your back. And then you put your feet on the floor and you let your knees fall in very gently towards each other. Once we get to this position, we can once again feel this gentle surrender. Also, if you have any questions or anything, you're welcome to chat me or go ahead and turn on your volume maybe, or turn on your mute.
Do I put my head on the pillow or just lay flat?
You can if you'd like. You can either lay flat, you can put your head on the pillow if that feels more comfortable for you.
Okay, thank you. All right.
Either way, you just want to really be able to relax back onto your back and be very comfortable in that space. I don't know if it's possible for you, Deb, but if you have an automatic car or an automatic transmission, maybe you can rest the other foot down comfortably in the well under the steering wheel. Once we get here, yeah, we just want to like breathe deeply, maybe inhale and exhale in that deep abdomen, letting those knees fall in towards each other, so you can bring the feet a little farther apart if that helps that. Yeah, so we can really relax everything. And here we have this wonderful gentle surrender where our entire back is supported. So, you know, we don't have to worry about anything with our back. And I want to just think about how important it is in our practices to incorporate rest, and how much we need rest in our lives. We have to sleep. We have to have a discipline of sleep in order for us to be our best selves and to stay alive. So we need to have rest in our lives. So when we struggle or we have challenge, especially in a discipline or something in our life, how can we find rest in those spaces? And one of the ways we can do this is by practicing rest and practicing this discipline of allowing ourselves to be calm and sturdy on the ground. I'll invite you now to inhale and draw the tailbone down towards the ground and let the lower back come up just a little bit off the ground. This is a very small movement. You're not lifting anything off the ground but the low back. Let the hips relax and then draw your belly button back towards your spine and let the tailbone come up just a little bit. roll back and forth. So inhale, let the tailbone come down towards the mat. Exhale, draw the belly button back towards the spine and let the tailbone come up just a little bit. Go ahead and let that go and take a few deep breaths into the belly. Then I'd like you to go ahead and let that go and make your way onto your stomach. You're going to come into what is called Crocodile Pose. It's just where you lie flat on your stomach, and either with a pillow or by making a pillow with your hands, you rest your head on your hands. Or on the pillow with your cheek turned to one side or the other. Yep. And once again here, we have this opportunity to surrender. And this time we are surrendering the whole front of our body and letting all of that relax down. Deb, if you're still with us, I invite you to maybe relax your rib cage down if you can. Relax the shoulder blades down the back of your back if you can. Also maybe relax your face if that's possible. Here we just relax in this delicious pose. And once again, let's do that deep abdominal breath where we breathe in and breathe out. Breathe in and breathe out. Feeling how that breath can really move the whole backside. Thinking about the opposite when we were just laying down on our backs and how we were moving our whole front side by breathing in deeply. Now it may be hard to quiet the mind here because of how your head is. But again, we're practicing this discipline of resting when we have challenges. If you have your cheek down on the ground, go ahead and turn your cheek to the other side. Go ahead and breathe here. Offer what you can to your mat and to yourself in this moment. Is there anything you're grateful for? Anything that you're satisfied with? And then from here, we'll transition into a child's pose. Yep, you can go ahead and draw your hips back towards your knees. Draw your hips back towards your knees on bent knees. Your arms can be outstretched in front of you or to your sides. Your knees can be closer together or farther apart, depending on what feels good for your torso. So if you want your torso to hang more in between your knees, separate them farther apart. And yes, you can put a pillow in between your knees as well. So here, this wonderful pose allows us the opportunity to bow to ourselves. Deb, if you are still with us and you could think about drawing your chin just a little bit back in the palate of your neck and elongating your skull or your crown up just a little bit. This is another way you can bow into yourself. Did you say something? I'm sorry, Deb. And here we are, we have this ultimate offering to ourselves, this ultimate bowing down and sort of giving of ourselves. Once again, you can practice that deep abdominal breathing, or you could try the cooling breath if it feels a little more hot when all your body parts are so much closer together. I want you to think about the discipline in this moment of rest, where there are a lot of different challenges that can come up in this pose, being all crunch together, trying to elongate your crown up by really thinking about the position of your neck, especially when you're driving. And just also be grateful for the surrender that you have in this pose and all of the places that you can actually let go. Can your head and neck be more comfortable? Can your knees be more comfortable? Can your lower back be more comfortable? Deb, can your head maybe start to feel like it floats? From here, we'll lift up our chest just a little bit so you can keep your arms on the ground and bring your knees closer together. And then you'll go ahead and lift straight up so that you're standing on your knees. Please feel free to use any type of padding that you might want to have for this. Yes. Now, once we come up standing on our knees, we'll bring all the weight to the left knee and draw out the right foot to the side into Gait Pose. You can do this with a bent knee or a straight leg, as I've shown in the image, but you can also do it with your knee just bent on the ground, like this, to the side. Yep, that looks great. Now go ahead and lift the arms up. Clasp the left arm or the left wrist with the right hand. And then go ahead and lean over towards the right. Breathe here, holding yourself comfortably and opening up that side. Maybe there are some challenges that are coming up for you here, but possibly you can surrender to what you can do. Breathe, check your alignment, or just come out of the pose more and not push so hard. Go ahead and inhale straight back up. Draw in that right leg back to where you were, or draw in the right leg to bent knee, excuse me. So you're on both knees again. Yep. And then go ahead and draw out the left leg. Yep. Raise up your arms, gently clasp the right wrist with the left arm, and then lean over to the left, leading the pose with your ribs. So Deb, if you wanted to, you could even just move a little side to side, leading the movement with your rib cage while lifting up your chest nice and tall. Breathe here. And then go ahead and come back to knees. And then go ahead and come up to standing as easy as possible for you. Yep, that looks great. So we're going to go ahead and do a little sun salutation practice. Again, this practice is meant as a discipline. It's meant to be something that we do over and over and over again throughout our lives. And we offer whatever we can offer in the moment. So whatever the body is feeling, take those cues and please be kind to yourself and move with compassion and kindness. I also invite you to take any of our rest poses at any time. I also invite you to skip a pose if you would prefer to skip a pose. So we will start in mountain pose with having your feet about hip distance apart, firmly planted on the ground. Everyone can draw their shoulder blades down their back. Think about lifting up their chest a little bit, maybe using their lower abs to help soften the ribs. In mountain pose, if you're standing, you can go ahead and let the arms just drape by the sides. You can also start to think about drawing that chin back just a little bit, so the back of the neck elongates and the crown of the head gets a little taller. Feel your mountain. Feel how strong you are in this pose. Be grateful for the legs that hold you up. Maybe take some satisfaction for something not bothering you while you're standing right now. Then I'll invite you to inhale and bring your hands to your heart center. And maybe when you do that, you can think of an offering that you would like to offer to us, to the universe, to your higher power. Then you're going to go ahead and raise your arms up overhead. Take an inhale. And then slowly come forward into your expression of a forward fold. Breathe here. Once again, we're bowing down to ourselves, bowing down to the divine self that is you, and you are here working on your discipline. Go ahead and step back with the right leg. You can either put the knee on the ground or keep the knee off the ground. Do what's best for you. Maybe lift up with the chest a little bit. Deb, you can always lift up your chest. And then step back into a downward facing dog. Here you want to have your feet hips distance apart. You want to lift the hips up as much as you can. You want to be careful not to sag in your shoulders and let your chest hang off your shoulders, but rather engage the shoulders by drawing them down the back, pushing firmly into your entire hand and even into your fingertips. And then you can start to think about using those lower abdomen muscles to draw your chest back towards your thighs. Breathe here. There may be some challenges that you're feeling here, but maybe there's also some surrendering that you can feel in this moment. Deb, you can also consider lifting your chest with your lower abdomen and softening your rib cage. Maybe letting those shoulder blades fall down your back. Maybe it's really hard to do yoga while you're driving, so I'm interested in what you can surrender to in those moments. Go ahead and bring your knees down to the ground. Then you're going to go knees, chest, and chin. And then you're going to slide down onto your stomach. With your hands underneath your shoulders, go ahead and push up into a low cobra, just an easy low cobra. And then go ahead and lay back down. You can choose to keep moving in this sun salutation or come back into crocodile. It's your option. You can rest if you'd like to rest. Take a few breaths here. Inhale and exhale. And then when you're ready, come to all fours and draw yourself back into a downward facing dog. Once you're in your down dog again, remember to have the feet hips distance apart. Maybe think about turning out the heels a little more than the toes. Drawing the hips up. Really trying to link those shoulders onto your back and draw them up towards your hips. Pressing into the floor with your whole hand. Deb, maybe there's some way you can engage your whole hands, if you can just even reach one out at a time, if that's possible. Breathe here, and then go ahead and step your right leg forward and come either into a low or high lunge with the back knee on or off the ground. Breathe here, show the chest, show your efforts up to the sun, step the back leg back, come into your expression of a forward fold. Reach your arms wide and up to the side. And then let your arms come down to mountain pose. Beautiful, everyone. So you've done the first side of your salutation, of your offering that you're giving up to the sun. I had a plan for us to do a second side, but I think if it's okay with everyone, I'm going to move forward. But I can talk a little bit about what I was going to do on our second side. I invite you to stay in mountain if you're feeling comfortable in mountain and want that offering to give yourself in the discipline. I also invite you to come to a resting pose if you like. The next set of sun salutations we were going to do, where we moved over to the left side and did a similar practice. I was going to add some variations to present challenge in our discipline, because that is another way that we can sort of use our tapas towards transformation. I also just wanted to mention that in some places, they practice the sun salutation. There's a discipline to practice this same series over and over again 108 times. And they say it is what it requires to create a burning desire and strong willpower, and to link yourself with your tapas. It is the synergy of hard work and exalted intention that makes a practice spiritually charged. Surrender to where the body is now and offer yourself to the sun as Ishvarapranidhana. So we were going to add some variations for challenge. So just in the first part, you can do a twisted lunge, and then a bent knee, downward facing dog. Here is some practice on your stomach that you can do in Sphinx pose. That just means your elbows are directly underneath your shoulders and your forearms are flat on the ground. And then from there, I would offer a forearm plank into a dolphin, which is just downward facing dog, but on your forearms. That also is a pose that allows us to really explore some of our challenges in our discipline and our practice, but also surrender. And then again, come back to your strong mountain pose and ask yourself, how have you arrived here? Are you feeling yourself offering and giving, or are you feeling challenged and frustrated? Some other poses that can help us really work with these ideas is Warrior One and Humble Warrior Pose. Both poses where you are making an offering to yourself and also bowing down to yourself. Let's go ahead and come to a seated position. And you can bring your legs into butterfly, which just means that your two soles of your feet touch. It does not matter how far away your feet are from your pelvis. Deb, if you are still with us, come to a seated position with your feet touching, and go ahead and just sit comfortably with your sit bones nice and square on the ground, and hold yourself up as straight as you can. You can do this by softening your ribs a little bit and letting the shoulder blades fall down your back, drawing the chin just a little bit back in the palate, like so, to really elongate the back of your neck. Breathe here. Maybe after all that movement, you want to consider a cooling breath, or you may want to think about calming and observing your mind. So you may like to do your deep abdominal breath. From here, we're going to go ahead and grab onto the shins with our hands. We're going to do a little cat and cow motion with our torso. So we're going to inhale and draw our chest forward and up. And then exhale, go ahead and curl the back over your front legs. Inhale, go ahead and lift the chest up. And then exhale, curl by drawing that belly button back towards the spine and really allowing that mid back to just curl in. Yep, just back and forth a few times. Beautiful. Looks so nice. We're going to go ahead and lay down on our back, on a flat back, and come to a supine pigeon. So on your flat back, you want to go ahead and take one leg, or let's just start together. Put the right ankle on top of the left knee. Make sure you flex that right foot and protect the knee. So again, thinking about, intention in our discipline and offering to ourselves to take care of our bodies when we move and work. And then go ahead and reach your left arm through the hole in between your legs and the right arm around the outside. Oh, I'm sorry, I have that wrong. The right arm's going to go through the legs and the left arm will go out. No, I had it right. Left arm through the legs. Sorry. Right arm through the legs and left arm on the outside of the left thigh. And then go ahead and draw the left thigh in towards the chest. Breathe here. Again, this might draw up some feelings for you, as the hips, working with the hips sometimes does. Can you sit with those feelings? Is there anything that you're gratified about in this moment, grateful for in this moment, or just satisfied with? Breathe. Now you're going to take the left hand, you're going to let go with both your hands and take the left hand and put it on top of your left knee, going over your right ankle. Then you're going to twist everything over to the left side. Yep. I think you want to switch hands there, Sharon. Yeah, so bring your other hand on the knee that's bent. Other knee, other hand. Opposite knee, opposite hand. No. You had your legs just great. Yep. So you don't want to cross. You want to have the same hand on the same knee. The same knee where your ankle is currently sitting. Yep, right there. That hand on that shin, just draw it over to the knee. Yep, and then just twist everything over towards where that. Breathe here. Then come back to center and go ahead and switch the legs. Come back to that supine pigeon. So you want to bring your left ankle onto your right knee. And then reach through with the left hand and then put your right arm around to the right thigh. Make sure to flex that left foot, protect that knee. Breathe. Try to twist everything over to the right and keeping your legs as they are. You can let go with the hands. Breathe here. And then come back to center and set yourself up for Shavasana. Want to lay flat on your back, or you can also go back to that constructive rest we did in the beginning, where your knees fall gently in towards each other. Come to lie in rest. Yeah, you can put your knees up on something, a chair, a couch if you'd like. You can put a pillow under your knees. You can put a pillow under your head. You can let your arms lay comfortably by your sides. This is your time for your ultimate surrender and your ultimate offering of rest to your body after it did such nice work for you. So I'm going to end by trying to bring some of the themes together with this practice that we did. So I have some words from an abolition activist that I admire a lot, named Miriam Kaba. She tells us that hope is a discipline and it is a potential for transformation and for change. And I think this is a beautiful way and a simple way to capture our themes today of Tapas and Ishvarapranidhana. The discipline and the challenges that come from practicing that discipline can lead to things like passion and frustration and satisfaction and even awareness. These things that we can think of as our tapas, our discipline, our sensing of our senses. And then our discipline towards transformation, if you will. And then this divine surrender with compassion and kindness and humbling, the Ishvarapranidhana, where our offering is to cultivate hope. So if you want to start to bring some small movements to your fingers and toes, your legs, or even your head and your face, start to bring some small movements back into the body. Remember to do this with compassion and kindness. And we'll move into our meditation and journaling practice. Feel free to sit for meditation or to lie down for meditation. Choose to use half the time for meditation and half the time for journaling. I will cue you at the halfway point, and also cue you when there's a 1-minute warning. So if you would like to do some journaling, I have some offerings for you. Number one, this idea that hope is a discipline and how that really embodies both of these niyamas of Tapas and Ishvarapranidhana. I also want to offer some mantras to you. Miriam Kaba's book that just came out recently is called We Do This Till We Free Us. And she talks about how important it is not to just focus on the end goal, but on the process of transformation and continued life and community it benefits and sustains. The mantras I have for you today are: we do this till we free us. I do this till I am free. Or I want this, so I will try. Lastly, for some journaling, I have these ideas about tapas as a discipline towards transformation, Ishvarapranidhana as a cultivation of hope and an offering that you can offer the world, yourself, and your community hope. And also this idea of naming a daily discipline. Any of those things are available. I think I will give us about 5-6 minutes for this, and then we'll come back together and close together and have Q&A. Just want to gently tell you that we are at the halfway point. So if you wanted to switch from meditation and or journaling to the other, I want to remind you of our ideas that hope is a discipline. Our mantras of we do this till we free us. I do this till I am free. I want this, so I will try. And then our journaling ideas of tapas being a discipline towards transformation, our Ishvarapranidhana, cultivation of hope, and this idea of naming a daily discipline. Okay, in the next few moments, we're going to go ahead and come back. So if you want to finish anything up, I was going to give us about a minute more to work on anything you wanted to work on. Okay, I'd like to bring us back together. Again, whatever comfortable position feels comfortable to you. I'm going to invite you to bring your hands to heart center so we can just end the practice together. I invite you to do a quick scan of everything that we did here today and maybe find a moment where you felt grateful or aware of your own discipline or just even found hope for yourself. And as our practice can be a benefit to more than just us, please offer these benefits from your practice to someone in your life who you think could use just a little more hope. One last quote that I want to share with you before I end is Miriam Kaba's father, who says that failures are always lessons and that everything worthwhile is done with others. Namaste. Thank you so much for joining me today. It was great to work with you guys. It was wonderful to have the challenge of trying to do sun salutations with someone in a car. So thank you for that. Also, thank you so much for, sticking it out. I have a page of resources that I'm happy to share and send along to YogaCare that they can email out. I'm going to go ahead and stop the share, so maybe we can have a chat before we end our session.